What's going on, everyone? Tim Williams here. We're here to break down tonight's 10-game MLB slate over on DraftKings. It is Wednesday, August 25th. And before I get started here, I just want to thank everyone for watching and subscribing to the YouTube channel. This has been really, really fun to me breaking down these games. So let's just get started here. First game we have is the Diamondbacks taking on the Pirates. 9 over under here. You have Gilbert taking on Wilson. Not a ton of interest in the pitching in this one. Gilbert at 6K. 18% strikeout rate here, 9% walk rate. He's giving up a ton of hard contact at 51%. A little bit more power given up to the right-handed batters, a 206 ISO to those guys. Wilson on the other side coming off the IR, just a 14% strikeout rate here, not a ton of upside, even though he is facing the Diamondbacks. 227 ISO to left-handed batters, so he's really struggling against the lefties here. In general, I like Varsho a lot as a one-off power piece at 3.6K. He has a 224 ISO against right-handed pitching. The Diamondbacks are going to throw a lot of lefties at Wilson, so they are kind of intriguing. It's just kind of a bigger slate with a lot of other go-to teams on this one. Pirates on the other side definitely have some interest in the right-handed bats here. Michael Chavis probably leading off at 3.4K. He had a nice home run last night. I think he's in a good spot here again. Reynolds at 4.2, Alford at 2K, Flatman Price. So maybe a decent little three-man stack here. Next game we have to talk about is the Rays and the Phillies. The Phillies are favorited here at home, 8.5 over under. Yarbrough taking on Wheeler. Yarbrough 7.1K with a nice Rays bullpen behind him. 20% strikeout rate here. Struggles more against right-handed batters. He's only given up 34% hard contact, which makes me not really want to stack against him. Wheeler on the other side, nice little spend up at 10K, tougher matchup against the Rays, but near 30% strikeout rate here, 50% ground ball rate. Not really a guy I want to target against, but I do like Brandon Lau at 5K as like a one-off, maybe a sneaky upside piece. Hopefully he gets a home run. 298 ISO against right-handed pitching, but I think Wheeler's in a decent spot. Guys on the Phillies, I think the right-handed bats have some upside here. Hoskins at 4.7 would be the like one bat I would target. McCutchen at 3.6 feels a little cheap. Galvis should be back in this one at 3.4K. It is risky. He's coming off the IR, but a little bit of interest on the Phillies side, but might just be a fade in this particular game, aside from Wheeler. Next, we have the Angels and the Orioles, 9.5 over under here. The Angels are favorited on the road in Baltimore. This could be another big scoring game as well. Ohtani on the mound here at 8.7K. It's a nice price for him. Orioles have a lot of strikeouts in their lineup. Ohtani himself, 30% strikeout rate here, 10% walk rate, gives up some hard contact, but does a pretty good job at keeping the ball in the park. This will be a challenge for him. I think he's going to get some ownership. It is going to be a hot day in Baltimore. It's really tough to pitch in that environment, so keep that in mind. Ellis on the other side, not a ton of interest at 4K. Guys I have a little bit of interest in on the Angels would be Walsh as like a one-off at 4.3K, Stassi as well if he's starting at catcher at 4.1. Orioles, I think, are a little bit interesting here. Mountcastle at 4.2. Santander had a huge game yesterday, 2.9. Mullins, Baltimore strikes out a lot, so that's the risk, but Ohtani will probably be heavily owned, so maybe in some GPP formats you might want to take some Orioles against him. Next, we have the White Sox taking on the Blue Jays, 8.5 over under here. Blue Jays are favorited at home. Giolito taking on Ray, a nice little pitching matchup. We have again in this series, Giolito 8.3K, 28% strikeout rate here, 40% fly ball rate. So that's just who he is, right? He's giving up a lot of fly balls, giving up a lot of power to right-handed batters. 233 ISO right-handed batters have against him. Ray on the other side, 8.9K, not a bad price for him either for his strikeout upside at 31%, 40% fly ball rate. So similar to Giolito, giving up a lot of fly balls. White Sox, kind of an interesting stack here. Both sides, I think, are an interesting stack here. It could just be very well a pitcher's duel again. White Sox do hit lefties pretty well. Ray gives up a lot of fly balls. It looks like this Toronto Park now with the humidor, like it's kind of limiting the upside on as far as home runs and stuff. But White Sox bats, I think, are definitely in play, possibly if you think that they're going to beat up on Ray here. Guys I would look to would be Abreu, Robert, Anderson, Vaughn. All these guys hit lefties well all season long. And then on the Blue Jays, I think it might be a good opportunity to get some of those right-handed batters. Giolito struggles a little bit to the right-handed bats. We all know that the Blue Jays have tons of power from the right side. Bichette, Semien, Guerrero, I think it would be a good opportunity to maybe get the Jays at a lower ownership. So I would start with those three. But again, that could just be a nice pitching duel game. So keep that in mind. Next, we have the Nationals and the Marlins. No favorite here, 8 over under. You have Gray taking on Cabrera. Nice little, young man's pitcher duel here. Gray, 7.9K, 28% strikeout rate so far this season. He is giving up a ton of fly balls, 56% of the time. Kind of like what we saw with Eli Morgan yesterday. A lot of people were kind of siding with him. He also gives up a lot of fly balls. So that could be the same result with Gray. Morgan got shelled, so keep that in mind. Gray, giving up a lot of hard contact, 279 ISO, 2 left-handed batters, 343 ISO, 2 righties, which makes me kind of interested in the Marlins, but we'll get there. Cabrera called up, has really, really good strikeout stuff in the minors. He has to just keep he's walking too many guys, so he's really got to keep that down. I don't think the Nationals really profile well in this spot, which makes me a little bit, interested in Cabrera. I think he's going to be popular. Just so from like a game theory perspective, maybe you'd want some Nationals in your lineup. Soto at 5.4, I think that's pretty cheap, but yeah, Nationals really struggling against right-handed pitching this season. On the other side, I think some Marlins have to be in play just in case, Gray garners some ownership. I'm not in love with stacking the Marlins, but they are very cheap, maybe as a secondary stack. Sanchez, Aguilar, he was leading the majors in RBIs. Chisholm, Anderson, it's a risky stack, but high risk, high reward, right? I think both pitchers are interesting, but they are very young. So it's kind of a risky game just in general, kind of a wide open one. Next, we have the Giants and the Mets, 8.5 over under here. Mets are favorited. Cueto coming off the IR at 7.6K, taking on Walker at 7.3. Cueto, 21% strikeout rate here. He's actually been pitching pretty well this season. I think the upside's capped. I don't really trust guys coming off the IR. He really struggles more against left-handed batters. Walker on the other side, similar to Cueto, 21% strikeout rate here, 10% walk rate, which is a little worrisome. Really, really been struggling as of late. I actually love the Giants in this game. Wade, Belt, Bryant, Yastrzemski, Crawford. I think everyone's in play. Dickerson. So definitely interested in the Giants here. Mets, just in general, really struggling as of late. I'd like to see something before kind of diving in there. So really leaning heavily on the Giants side in this one. Twins taking on the Red Sox is our next game here, 10.5 over under. And it seems like Fenway Park in the summer just kind of turns into like Coors Field, right? The ball just kind of carries. Red Sox are favorited in this one. I really love this game, particularly as like maybe even a game stack as far as the bats go. Ober taking on Pivetta. Ober at 6.1K. Really hasn't been too bad. 23% strikeout rate here. Not bad for the price, but 41% fly ball rate. Just giving up massive power to both sides of the plate. The Red Sox really hit the ball very well. We all know this. Pivetta 8-1, just not going to get there. Similar with Ober, right? I think if the bats are in play, it kind of takes the pitchers out of play. Pivetta's strikeout rate's been pretty nice, but he walks a lot of guys, gives up a ton of fly balls. So I like bats on both sides. Polanco, Donaldson, Kepler, Rooker, Sano, all really cheap. Nice little 3-man stack there. You can even go 5 for sure. On the other side with the Red Sox, I think they're all very much in play. Devers, Verdugo way too cheap at 3.5K. Schwarber at 4.7 hasn't really been doing too much, but really like the lefties for the Red Sox today. Martinez, Shaw, I think everyone's just in play pretty much on both sides. So really like this one as like a game stack too. Maybe that's one way to get a little bit different. Next game we have to talk about is the Rangers and the Indians, 9 over under. We don't know too much about who the Rangers are throwing out there on the mound. We do know Plesac will be starting for the Indians at 8.5K, 16% strikeout rate here, giving up plenty of hard contact to right-handed batters here. So I think Garcia for the Rangers is just way too cheap for his power upside, 2.8K. So I have interest there. Plesac just not really striking a lot of guys out, giving up some contact. And then as far as Indians bats go, Ramirez, Rosario, Reyes, they're all kind of in play, but all just kind of really expensive. Rosario really still on that hitting streak. So at 4K, I feel like that's kind of a discount, but this game might just be a fade aside from maybe some one-offs here. Next, we have the Reds and the Brewers. Brewers are favorited here at home, 7.5 over under. Castillo taking on Woodruff. Nice little pitchers matchup here. Castillo 9.3K, 23% strikeout rate here. The walks are a little bit high, 9.4% walk rate. Does a good job getting ground balls here, 55% ground ball rate. Taking on Woodruff at 10-2, another high upside strikeout pitcher, 30% strikeout rate here. Really does a good job limiting fly balls 30% of the time. I don't have a ton of interest in the Reds. I think Woodruff is too good of a pitcher to kind of stack against. On the other side, I do have some interest in Brewers bats. Really tough matchup for Castillo. I think I could fade Castillo because there are plenty of other pitching to go to at cheaper prices with higher upside as far as strikeouts go. So Castillo probably a fade for me. You know, the Brewers have been kind of hot. Wong is at 3.9K leading off. Garcia at 3.8. Tellez, nice little power bat at 2.7. Narvaez. I definitely have some interest in the Brewers, not my, priority for sure, but I think they're in play, no doubt about it. And then the last game we have to talk about is the Dodgers taking on the Padres, 8 over under here. Dodgers are favorited on the road. Buehler taking on Snell. I really like Buehler in this spot. I like Buehler in any spot, really. He's just been pitching out of his mind this year. He's thrown a quality start in the last 9 of his 10 games, 26% strikeout rate here, 35% fly ball rate, in a nice ballpark for him to be pitching in. So I like Buehler here a lot at the top. Snell at 7.5K. He's got the strikeout upside as well. However, he is facing the Dodgers, one of the best hitting teams in all of baseball. Snell walking too many guys, 14% walk rate here, 47% hard contact. So I really lean on the Dodgers here. Really love the right-handed bats. Trey Turner, Jay Turner, definitely in play. Pollock, Taylor, I think they're a little bit too cheap for, their upside. And then on the other side with the Padres, I already discussed Buehler here. So really like Walker Buehler against the Padres. So no interest in the bats there. So that'll do it. That's a quick 10-game breakdown here for you. I think it's going to help you a lot. Keep an eye out on some of these pitching matchups, a lot of these rookies starting, and some of the weather too. We have some nice hitting weather on the East Coast. So that'll do it. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Good luck in your contest today. Peace.